Hello there, I'm Tabletop Toby. Today we're going to be continuing our series playing through the different difficulty levels of Race to the Raft. We're on difficulty level 2 today, so it's going to start heating up both the fire chasing the cats and the difficulty of the game. So this one is called Narrow Spaces. It's from the second campaign out of the series of campaigns available. It's only using the small island board, so I think that's why they call it Narrow Spaces, especially because we're getting those 5 cats and we all have to get them to that little tiny raft there. There's not a lot of room for us to get fire going at the beginning, so we immediately have to think about how we're going to move those cats along and make room for the fire as it spreads. So let's get going and get those cats out of the way of harm. All right, as we're diving into our pod level difficulty of 2 out of 5, we're going to be doing a scenario called Narrow Spaces. And this setup guide is really easy in terms of getting things out there, and we've already done that. Now you see why it's called Narrow Spaces, because there are 5 cats here. They all have to get to this raft, and there's not a lot of room for the fire tiles to be placed. Speaking of, I'm not going to go into great detail in the rules here. I'm going to address it as I go along, but as we move along, I'll explain less and move forward. But just in case you haven't watched my How to Play, which if you want to learn how to play in detail, then definitely go check that out. But I'll try to address enough that you can follow along if you haven't read the rulebook or seen a How to Play on this. So getting started, our basic objective is to get the colored cats to the raft, to their allocated space. They can only move along the colored path that matches their color, and you do so by placing these pathway cards to create a shocker path to get there. With that being said, the first thing we do is we draw a hand of 3 cards. These cards have colors on them showing the probability that you'll get a particular color. So this is 33% green, 33% yellow, less of the others, and so on with the other cards. So first we have to actually have a strategy. Now this is a tactical game, so your strategy may change depending on what you draw, which is part of the fun. So we have to place a fire tile which blocks your path. You can't move through them every time you place one of the pathway cards. So right now we do not have a lot of room because you can't block their paths. The green has to go all the way down here. This green has to go there. So I do think if we can get them there first, and that gives us room to put fire at the edges, because right now we pretty much just have these squares. You can't block the 3x3 area around where you're trying to get them because you can no longer then place a card. So I think our strategy is to focus on green first to have room for the fire at the edges. So we'd want to do this card or this card. This one is green and blue, but blue's in the middle, and so we can kind of save them for last because purple has to go here, yellow has to go there, so they have to cross, so we can't really block that area. So I don't know that that's necessarily smart, and even getting blue, like we really can't use much of that space for fire. However, yellow, if we got this green and yellow both home, we would have this whole section of the board. So I think this is the way to go. So we'll do all of these with our greens and then maybe yellow strategy. And I think we'll go all in on that and go ahead and do our extra hand, which you do in the solo mode. You draw an extra hand of 3, and then as you play cards from your hand, you refill. Now you cannot look at the cards in your hand until after you've drawn the extra hand. So that is something that simulates the multiplayer experience of not knowing what the other options are. But once you've drawn those, you can look at what you have. So like we have lots of heavy yellow. I think it might be smarter to focus on green first in this green, because once we get these 2 home, we have nothing else we need to do over there, which is kind of nice. So I think we'll go ahead It's helpful for me at a certain point just to start playing with how it shapes up. We could do that to get them down. But if we kind of move them over, it gets them over and out of the way, so we can start using some of that space because we can move the cat if we're not drawing green cards, and it would at least open that up. So I think we'll do that for now. Every time you place a pathway card, you do have to draw a fire tile from the fire tile bag. And this is a big piece, and I do not love that. But it does look like we're going to be going over a little bit, so we could do that. There's also over here, this one has plenty of space. The purple is going over there, so we actually have a little bit more room to play with there. I think we'll go ahead and do that. We then draw from our extra hand, so I guess we're going to focus on yellow. That is what the universe is telling us. So I think to start off with, we'll do, well, actually, we could take advantage of that yellow one because we could do something like that and take advantage of the existing yellow there. So I think that's good. So we'll draw another fire tile. So this one, now see, this is going to screw us up because we can no longer place a card there to get green out of the way. Now what's interesting is they do have this one there, so we can place there, but that is not probably smart. If we do that, which we could do because green's going to be coming over, it does leave this inefficiency. So I think we're going to do that. I don't love leaving those, but that's not really an option right now. It does mean that we really are under pressure, so we need to get some of these friends moving along. We could go ahead and get yellow home. We don't have any green right now. I think that's our best bet. There is a little blue on this, so maybe we'll save this for now, or that might be our card to discard. But that completes a path for yellow to get home. We do have to place a fire tile. So do that. Ooh, another big one. Man. That is going to create another inefficiency there. Shoot. I should maybe have moved that green earlier. I was kind of pressing my luck a little bit. That's the same problem we had before, blocking that off. Man, oh man. Narrow spaces. It's definitely narrow spaces. So, gosh, I think we have to do this for now. And then we can get that yellow home, and then we can at least maybe do something there. Not great card draws for us. That is also not a great card draw. So we're not going to really need yellow anymore. This just has a little bit of blue. This one at least has purple, so we could potentially do something with that. So I think we're going to get rid of one of these two. I don't think it makes a difference which one. I think we're actually going to move, since we do not draw any more cards until this round is over. I think we're actually going to move the green one. So we have at least that space over there. And this goes in the disaster discard. Once there's 4 there, you do have to place an extra fire tile, so it's important to be efficient with your movement. I think we're going to go ahead and discard this one also to get yellow home. You can follow as far as you want along the path, and for the yellow/orange, it's funny, the on the pathway cards, it's more yellow, but the cat's orange. I think the manual refers to it as orange. I don't know if there was maybe like yellow was not a good color to do the miniature in, but orange probably was too close to red. So, but anyway, whether orange or yellow, that cat made it back. Now we do have to do something with this because you have to play all the cards. We don't have another cat to really move. We could go ahead and start a purple path. If we wanted, now this is interesting because it can move purple along and blue. And then maybe if we get the right placement, we could go ahead and get blue home early, even though we weren't going to focus on that before. But sometimes you got to deal with what you got. Draw another fire tile. So now this one is a little bit better because we can do that. I think that's fine. And it doesn't leave a gap, so we're going to do that. Now, when I moved the green one, I should have placed the green one inside because they're exhausted after they move in each round. And then at the end of the round, when you've played all your cards and there's no cards left in your extra hand, you do move into the rest phase, which means all exhausted cats stand back up, and then you draw a new hand. So this is an opportunity to visit where our strategy is right now. Our strategy is that we did not draw good green cards. So that did not work out for us. Now it's interesting, so we need green for sure. But now this one, the next majority is yellow. There's a higher chance of purple, whereas this one is green and blue, and then a smaller chance of purple. So it's kind of a tough call. We need to get these green ones because they're on the edges more. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do 3 of these, and then maybe we can go ahead and get blue home as well. I think I'll do one of these just for variety, and then we'll see if we can help our purple friend as well. So now we get a look at our hand. So finally a good card for green, another good card for green. So that is great. Now this is interesting because it does not get our blue home because of the way it's shaped. So let's go ahead and focus on green. Now we already have that purple path a little bit, so maybe we focus on that green later. I think with these 2 cards, can we get... No, we can't quite get the green one home. Well, actually, we can because we're ignoring the green there, so important to keep in mind. Yeah, we'll do that then. We'll do that to connect there. And we do have to place a fire tile. So get that green one out of the way. Man. So we could do, we do already have a path started for blue, so I think we're going to do that. Often that shape kind of causes me problems, but this time I feel like that's okay. So I think next we still need to get our other green one going, even though we have a plan for this one. So let's go ahead and do this one. No green at all. So we'll go ahead and place this. And then we have to draw a fire tile. And we can finally get one of our green friends home. Could do that, but that's creating a gap there. That does as well, but it does keep it out of the way a little bit. We could go ahead and do something like that. Nipping at the green cat's heels. I think that's maybe our best option for now to keep it kind of out of the way. We draw Next card, a yellow and a red, which is useless for us. So right away, I'm going to choose that as the card to discard to get our green friend all the way. So now we have all of this for fire tiles, which is great. So relieves a little of the pressure that we've been feeling. So we draw up. So finally some more green. Green, we would have to block over the purple one we're doing, whereas we could do something like that for purple. And maybe this helps green in the future. Let's try that. Draw a fire tile. A little less stressful, but this is not a great shape for us. So let's see what we can do. Could do something like that, but only leaves that one shape for us. Could do like that. That keeps our options pretty narrow there. Could do that. Creates an inefficiency there, but it does leave things more open. I think that's what we'll do. Could discard this one to move purple so we can get purple maybe cued out of the way, so then we can start building our green path. Could place this to get a purple right there, but I don't like that idea. If we do move a cat though, we do have to place an extra fire tile. I think we will go ahead and move purple, so that way if we get green options, then we can do that. Let me just think if I want to move. I guess at this point it's better to stay back in case there's a tile, a 3x3 pathway card that I can place there. Keeps my options open. You do not have to move them all the way. You can move them anywhere when you discard a card, as long as they don't end up, as long as they actually move and they don't end up on the same spot they started on. But we do have 4 cards in the discard pile, so we do have to officially discard those, and then we have to draw another fire tile. So now we could do this. I rather like. It's out of the way. That kind of blocks us in, so not blocks us in, but blocks in spaces there that we can't use. So now, I guess we could do like this, and then if we get a good blue draw next time, we can go to get it home, or we could also do this, and it creates a line at least there. So then if we had a straight line, we could get blue all the way home. And then whichever, whether we draw a good blue card or a good purple card, then maybe we can get one of those home next to get it out of the way of the green. It's funny, our whole plan of getting both the greens there first is not the way it played out, and that's the way it goes. So we do have to draw a fire tile for that placement. Could do something like that, but that leaves a couple of spaces there. That kind of blocks our blue option there. Could do that, but it's really constraining what we're doing there. This leaves 2 gap spaces. Now this also limits our purple option there. Man, I don't love it, but I'm gonna do that. I don't like leaving those 2 spaces there, but very constrained, and I don't want to block our options there. Okay, so when I moved the purple cat, I again should have exhausted it. But we're in the rest phase now because we played all the cards from our hands and played our extra hand, so the purple would stand back up. So now we want to get the purple and the blue home and get green moving as well. Now we could draw these green ones and hope we get the purple or blue. Seems like we could really get blue home easier before purple. So maybe I'll do this one because it could be green or blue, a tiny chance of purple. Let's do 3 of those to make sure we can do something with the green and blue, that is, hopefully. And then we'll do at least 2 purple, and then we'll do another of these for the green and blue. We get a look at what we have. Okay, so we can definitely get blue home. So let's do that right away, because then we could put fire tiles up there. So because we placed a pathway card, we draw a fire tile. Okay. Could do something like that. Could do that actually, because that does leave room for the green one to come down. I think we'll do that. We've been leaving too many gap spaces. So we have a path for blue. We maybe want to get purple done next. So let's see if we can get a good purple card. Come on. Okay, that is not gonna get us there. Let me just think. If we did this here, it might take 2 cards. So if we did that, how can we do this? Man, sometimes the layering it, really, you have to think about it because it doesn't. No, we could do something like that. But see, with the layering, you're like blocking yourself off. Huh. I don't know. I think our best bet is to go ahead and get blue home, but the question is which card should we discard to do that? I feel like this one is the least useful, because if you're putting a card here, you're having to go over that. So let's discard that one, which allows us to get blue all the way home. So we have a little cat party getting started there. So there's only 1 card in a disaster discard. So let's go ahead and see if we can get maybe a better purple draw, so we can go and get purple out of the way. No. No, no, no. That is unfortunate. Not great choices. So what are we gonna do? I think we can do something like that, because it leaves us room there. We just don't really have a lot of great options, so let's go ahead and do that for now. Well, really forever, because it's going to be there forever, but we can layer on top of it. So let's see. We can do that, which I think is perfect. Draw our last card. So at least a helpful card for green. So let us get green going. So we shall do that. Then we do have to place fire tile. Okay. That is going to leave a couple of spaces there. Can't mess with our options of placement there. We are getting in trouble, just like me dropping that. The stress is getting to me, man. What do I do? Oh man, 2 more spaces, leaving it open just doesn't seem great. I guess. Well, green is going straight down, so maybe that's okay. It does allow me to do one there. It really kind of narrows my options there. I don't know about that. Doesn't fit there though. I don't like that necessarily. Man. Let's do that and see what happens. These others are not useful. So we can use one to move green and we wouldn't have to place a fire tile, which is nice because we only have one in the disaster discard. What can we do with the other one though? I don't think really anything. Now we can game the system a little bit here because I don't think either one of these does anything for us. So let's do one to move purple back one, which gives us more options in terms of connecting these. And we did move it one, and it's not ending on the same space. And then we'll go ahead and do another one to move green. And we'll just move green. Let's see here. We can go ahead and move green all the way. So that allowed us not to use a fire tile for either one of those moves. Both of those then are exhausted, but we're at the end of our hand, so it is a rest phase. So they both stand back up, and then we draw again. So we only care about green and purple. Whew. We do have more room here now. We got to get that purple one out of the way though. So I think to maximize our chances, we'll do 2 of those. We'll at least do another one in case those aren't good draws. I maybe screwed up where I put the green because I maybe should have. Oh no, because the purple would have blocked anyway, so that's fine. No regrets. No regrets. We're not going back. So, man, we'll do the green that has the largest chance of purple, and then we'll do that same one 2 more times. So kind of evenly distributed between those 2, and let's please hope for a purple card that can get us home. Don't know if this purple card can get us home, so I can no longer place there, which if I could, that would have helped us. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and build the future path for green. So we'll do that. That maximizes our connection possibilities up here in case we do have to cover this up some. And with that, we place a fire tile. So could do, man, feel like I'm really messy with the fire tiles this time. It's very constrained. But that is the name of the game. So I could do like that, which keeps options open, kind of building from the corner a little bit. Let's try that. I really would love to get purple out of the way, so let's do this one. Oh, okay. We finally have our answer that we have needed. Perfect. So we draw fire tile. So here, that fits kind of nicely there. Let's go with that. And then we draw our next card. So this one is useless for green. So we'll go ahead and do that to get purple home. And then we draw our next card. Okay, so that's a good card for green. But we first have to, because we have 4 cards in the disaster discard, we have to do an extra fire tile. And we can actually, well, yes, we can actually do that. Keep the pressure on the green. And then this is going to connect us all to get green all the way home. Place one last fire tile, which we should totally be fine with. So the pressure has been on the entire game, but we are golden at this point. We discard one of these, we get the green all the way home, and woo, that really kept the pressure on me, which I appreciated. I really had to work through that. Maybe I made some poor decisions along the way, but we made it. The cats are all safe from the fire and the smoke, so thank you for joining me. We'll continue this series with a level 3 difficulty next. So thank you for being here. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the playthrough. And just remember, the only rule is that there are no rules, except in board games.